Hello there, I'm Scotty, and you're not. And welcome to the official start of Theme Month, plus 1 week, because I'm doing 5 weeks. And we are starting with TV Adaptation Week. And we're starting off with a movie that I think is underappreciated, underrated as all hell. That's Speed Racer. So I have a history with this movie and the show it's based on. I grew up with Speed Racer when it aired on Cartoon Network. They even aired some episodes on the Speed Channel. Remember that channel? The Speed Channel was all racing all the time, and then Speed Racer was on in the morning. I have the complete series on Blu-ray right here. You know it's a 4.3. It's still nice to watch. And around the time the movie came out, I actually bought both of the big cars. We have the Mach 5, driven by Speed Racer. There. And we have the Shooting Star, driven by the Racer X. And I actually went to see this in the movie theater when it came out. I had a friend of mine. We were fans of the show. We decided we were going to go see this movie. So we went to see it. And I remember really liking it. But then, like years later, I heard a whole bunch of things. People bashing on it, not liking it. And then I looked on the back of this as I was getting ready. And I saw who the directors were. The Wachowskis. And I went, now it makes sense. You see, at this point, the Wachowskis were still getting hated on because of the Matrix sequels. So to me, it seems like people hated on this film because it was the Wachowskis directing it, despite the fact this is actually a good film. And I would put it up as one of my favorite TV to movie adaptations, up there with the Brady Bunch movie and plenty of others. But I think what the Wachowskis do well in this is the casting, first of all. You have Emile Hirsch playing Speed Racer, and he does a very good job of portraying the character. It's not the same character in the show, it's very grounded in reality, but, this kid wanted to be a racer since he was a kid. He wants to be a racer, that's all he wants to do, and it's done very well. Christina Ricci as Trixie, she's fine. Never been a big fan of her. I think she was good she was okay in Casper. Her acting style is a little meh for my liking, but she's alright. She has good chemistry with Emile Hirsch. The actor who plays Sparky is Australian, and so Sparky is Australian. Sparky is their mechanic and Speed's best friend. Here is Australian. He had sort of a southern drawl type thing in the original cartoon, which is fine. Inspector Detector, played by a German actor who I thought was actually Japanese. They were all Japanese, but he was very Japanese in the anime. But the actor who plays him does a very good job. I think it's David Allen. Hold on, I think it's on the back here. I don't see it. The actor they got to play Royalton, the villain of this film, is so good that as soon as he comes on screen, he oozes evil. Even when he's just trying to court Speed to join his racing team, you can tell there's something not right with this guy. There's something wrong. He's not who he says. He's not as good as he says he is. He's, and I think it was a good casting. The only actor I think could have done a better job is Tim Curry. And a part of me thinks that maybe, just maybe, they wanted Tim Curry, but they couldn't get him, so they got this guy who was sort of diet Tim Curry. That's just my thing. Paulie Litt as Spritle. Then there's an actual chimpanzee, Chim Chim. For his part, he does pretty well. There's some scenes where they go nuts on sugar and stuff. It's fun. There's a scene where they're sneaking around into the restricted area with the monkey. I did a thing where stand on top of each other with the lab coat on, and the monkey is on top, and the security guard shows up with, and the monkey just smiles. You know, it's fun. It's funny. Susan Sarandon is Mom Racer. She does good for what she has. She kind of disappears midway through the film and it comes back at the end. I don't know if she leaves. I don't pay attention to that. I don't know. I've missed it. And you have Matthew Fox and Scott Porter playing the dual role of Rex Racer / Racer X. And I remember this being something, I think it's one of the only things I'm conflicted on with how they did Racer X. So, if you don't know, the story with Racer X is that Racer X is actually Rex Racer, which calling himself Racer X, or X, Rex, it's really not hiding, but you know, Rex, quote unquote, dies and becomes Racer X to protect his family. You know, and here they have a good explanation. He's like hiding from the mob or something. We find out later it had something to do with, you know, fixing races. I'll get into the plot in a little bit here, but what they did with Racer X, though, is that in this film, Speed starts to get suspicious that Racer X could be Rex, so he takes his mask off. I remember sitting in the theater going, no, don't do that, don't do that. And he takes it off, and it's Matthew Fox. Now, I already knew he was playing Racer X. He's Jack from Lost. You know, I wasn't into Lost at the time. I shortly would, after this, get into Lost. But, could have been this performance. He's really good. I thought what they were doing was Matthew Fox would portray the character of Rex under the mask. But if he took the mask off, it was going to be Scott Porter. Or he was an older Rex. What they did made me scratch my head back and then, but I understand it now a little bit. It's a little head scratching still. So, takes his mask off. It's not Rex. It is, but it doesn't look like Rex. And from this point on, though, you see him without the mask on. Even though earlier on in the film, Inspector Detector says that he keeps the mask on because if anyone saw him, they'd be targets for his enemies. But you just see him later during the Grand Prix with the mask off. After he has this speech with Speed. And then it's revealed that he had facial reconstruction surgery to look differently. And Inspector Detector knows about it. It was like an in-job thing to get him away from the mobs. Problem I have is, if he got facial reconstruction surgery, why is he wearing the mask? I know earlier they made the excuse, oh, like I said, he's, you know, to protect people from his enemies, but then he's just not wearing it. It's an interesting way to go to have him get facial reconstruction surgery, but then it kind of eliminates the reason why he wears the mask. The whole reason why Rex wears the mask, so no one knows who he is. Give him surgery, he doesn't really need to wear the mask now, does he? It really eliminates the point of having the mask. And it seems like the Wachowskis knew that, because from the point after he takes the mask off, he doesn't wear it again. But by far, the best casting in this film is John Goodman as Pops Racer. Yes, that is his real name. My God. John Goodman's performance in this film is fantastic. He can play Pops to a T. He's the stern, gruff, angry man, but also kind and nurturing to his children. He wants to protect Speed because he doesn't want the same thing to happen to him that happened to Rex. Now, the plot, first of all, John Goodman does a very good job, and he was like the best choice to play this role. Although there are scenes, there's a scene where he Pops wears the red shirt, he's wearing like blue coveralls, and like he's got the mustache, like he looks like Mario. I'm just saying, I don't know. But the plot is a different one from the pilot. And if you don't know, the pilot episode, which I watched a million times because I had Volume 1 on DVD back in the day before I got this Blu-ray, people are after the Mach 5, and they want the schematics for it, the blueprints. But Pops put the blueprints on the windshield. They're like in the windshield. And so they're after those. And the scene from this movie where Speed is on a racetrack at night and he talks to Racer X, that's in this movie. That was in the show. And it's in this movie, and I like that. And it's like, it bridges the gap between the first two episodes, because they were like, I don't know if all of them are, but the earlier episodes are in two parts. So that's like when they like see each other on the track, that's the end of part one, and it goes into part two. I like that. But the plot in the movie has to do with Royalton. It's a plot about how racing is fixed. And, like, to a point, they're like, why should we even care about racing if it's fixed? And it's like, well, any professional sport can be fixed. Look at wrestling. People know it's fixed, and they still watch it, right? They know that winners are picked ahead of time, and they still watch it. You know, I still watch wrestling. I go into a wrestling premium live event knowing that they've already picked the winner. And so when it's done, the whole question is, well, why did they pick him? Why didn't they give the title to this person? Why didn't they have this person win? That whole thing. It's not about, that they're doing it. It's why they pick this person? Why'd they go that direction? That's all in the fun of trying to figure out why they did it as opposed to the fact that they actually did it. But yeah, he says that after Rex, he tells Royalton the story, and after Rex died, his father was inconsolable, he was moping around, and then they both bonded over a race they were watching on TV, a 43 Grand Prix, which, is this movie supposed to take place in the 60s? Because, well, no, because it could have been a tape, never mind. I don't know what I'm thinking, but they bond over it, and then that's when Royalton says, well, the race was fixed. This other racer could gain money from it or something. So it was fixed. And so he still decides not to work for Royalton, and then he doesn't finish in the next race. But a plan is hatched because, I forgot his name, Toga-Kan, played by Rain. That is the actor's stage name, but he's Korean, even though he's supposed to be Japanese, because his father is played by Hiroyuki Sanada, who is Japanese. So I don't know. They had a plan that says, well, we'll give you the files if you work with us. I think they're files on Royalton, I guess, I don't know, to win this race. So they do work together, and they do win the race, and they win. And I'll talk about the racing sequences, because, especially when you get to the end, because it just blows my mind how the Wachowskis did this. But they win the race, and Speed does his pose from the beginning of the whole thing that he does. You'll see in the thumbnail, but he does the pose. And they won. And then it's revealed that Toga-Kan was actually it was all set up so that the stocks in Toga-Kan would go up and Royalton would have to buy. It was all set up. But Speed is about ready to take off, much like Rex did, and this time Pops says, I'm going to support you. You can leave, but the door's always open. And then they get a knock on the door. And it's Toga-Kan's sister, who hands him an invitation to the Grand Prix and says, as a winner of the Toga-Kan team, you show that, they'll have to allow you in the race. So, there you go. And if I do have one criticism, it's that Racer X isn't in the race. He's on the sidelines watching from a box. And it's like on the show, at least from my memory, he was in every race, no matter what. And it's just awkward that he's just standing there watching the race the entire time instead of being involved in it in some way, shape, or form. But, of course, Speed wins the race eventually, even though there are fixers trying to take him out. He does win. Snake Oiler is the one who's supposed to win, but maybe that's the other one. The Snake Oiler is the one character I think wasn't done right. Like, all the characters are very accurate to how they looked in the anime. Except for Speed wears a racing jacket instead of a t-shirt. But he has the blue t-shirt on through most of the film, but he had a racing jacket. Snake Oiler in the cartoon had a red and white striped hat and triangle visor. Like a two triangle style visor. And here he's just dressed like a snake, and it's really, I don't know, to me, for being so accurate with the other characters, the way they look, this one, to just be, that this is the one that you decide, oh, we can make him look like a snake, even though that's not what he looks like in the anime. So meh to me. But yeah, it was nice. But the racing, so the style the Wachowskis using, after finding out it was the Wachowskis, it makes very much sense. Beginning of the film has flashbacks interspersed with Speed's race that he's in. And he goes back and forth, showing what happened to Rex and what's going on with his race. And that he's basically racing the ghost of Rex, basically, Rex's car, whatever. The racing sequences, I'll tell you this, especially the final race towards the end of it, if you suffer from seizures or epileptic in any way, don't watch this movie. I think that end race will do something to you. I'm warning you, just, if you're gonna watch it, you really shouldn't, but if you're going to, turn away from the TV during the racing sequences, because I think that will trigger something. But I will say that the racing sequences are done fantastically. Interspersed with the Mach 5 doing its thing with the with its gadgets that's on it. And the Mach 6, that's another criticism I have, is that at the end of the film for the Grand Prix, they create the Mach 6, which to my knowledge was never in the animated series, or the anime, so I don't know, but racing the Mach 5, that's the thing, and it has the tricks. And if there's one complaint about that I have, is that they don't allow you to digest it. The racing is very fast paced, and when he does the things, happen very fast. It's like, he's got the things on, and it's very fast. In the show, it was very much allowed you to digest it. When he did the pop, it allowed you to digest and see what gadgets he was using, what he was doing. It worked very well. I also like that they have Trixie flying her helicopter in this, even though Popstars drive it flying it as well. It's very cool how they did that. They do a switcheroo with her driving the Togakon car, but it's all done very well. And the Wachowskis literally took everything, for the most part, Snake Oiler, from the anime and threw it up on the screen. They translated it perfectly. I don't get to hate for this movie at all. From beginning to end, I was into it. I enjoyed it from beginning to end. It was fantastic. I do say the rap song thing at the end, not needed. You could just play a cover of the Speed Racer song, but this was 2008, and so we had to insert. At least the rap stuff was music. Nowadays, you just get, I don't know what it is anymore with modern music. I listen to older stuff. I can't listen to modern music. This is like, there's modern country, and there's some modern rock stuff, but like, I used to listen to Carol C all the time when I was a kid. Try to listen to that station now. I don't know. But back to Speed Racer, though. I do not get to hate for this movie whatsoever. I think it's a fantastic adaptation of the anime. I think it's one of the better anime TV to movie adaptations. And going in, I said, you know what? I think I'd be fine giving this a pretty good. But you know what? Screw that. When it comes to Speed Racer, it's gonna go To the moon. That's right. I'm giving it a perfect score. I'm sending this to the moon without a doubt. This goes to the moon. So that's a good start. And I kind of did it on purpose because I knew I was going to like this. And then we have the bottom, the very last one that we're doing, is another anime adaptation, Dragon Ball Evolution. And I haven't watched that in a long time, so I cannot say. I was nervous about this one. I'm like, oh, I watched it years ago. How am I going to think of it now? Obviously, I really liked it. I remember Dragon Ball Evolution. I'll tell a story about that when we get to it, but I remember thinking it was okay. So we'll see how it aged. But the next on the list is The Dukes of Hazzard, which is another movie I watched a lot over the years. So I think this week might be good. Oh, Miami Vice. Okay, I've seen all of these before, except for Miami Vice. I've never been able to finish it. So we'll see how that works when we get to it. But yeah, so what are your thoughts on Speed Racer? When it comes to, let me like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.